We like to say that sublimation is as easy as the 4 Ps: print, prep, press, and peel. Well, now it's even easier when you're using high quality products like Unisub. So in this video, we're gonna show you how to press 3 different products in 3 different sizes and shapes, all from the Unisub line. Now don't forget to like this video and subscribe while you're at it so you can get more sublimation and heat transfer content just like this. Now for the first P, I did take advantage of the fact that we have a larger Sawgrass SG-1000 printer with the multi-bypass tray attached. So I was able to fit multiple prints for all of my projects onto one single gang sheet in the big 13 by 19 inch size. Once that's done printing, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the second P, which is our prep or preparation. To prepare all of these sublimation blanks, all you have to do is align your substrate with the print. Then we're gonna fix it in place with some heat tape. Now, heat tape is a special heat-resistant tape that we use to keep our transfers in place throughout the process. You don't want to be using something like Scotch tape or honestly, any other tape, as most tapes are going to melt under the high temperatures that are required for sublimation. It's crucial that you don't skip this step for most hard surface substrates. You have to fix them in place for 2 reasons. One, it's just easier to align them and make sure that everything's coming out straight and centered. But number 2, and probably more important, is to avoid ghosting or blurring when the transfer is still hot. Some of that gas dye is going to be active. So if that shifts on the surface of your substrate, it could cause a double exposure effect or blurring, often called ghosting in our industry. To avoid that, we simply tape it in place. That way it can be held very still, having the right position all throughout the process until you peel it. Now, with all of our transfers fully prepped, meaning they've all been taken care of and aligned properly, we're gonna bring them over to our heat press for the fun part, which is the third P, the press. Now for the third P, we're gonna be using our HPN Signature Pro 15 by 15 inch swing away heat press. Now these items are all thin enough to where I could probably get them done on a clamshell style heat press, but if I were gonna be pressing anything thicker, especially once you get into that 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch thickness, you definitely wanna have a swing away like what I'm using today. Now the press step is fairly simple. You're gonna wanna make sure your press is set to the right temperature. In our case, we're setting it to 385 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds with medium pressure. We're gonna press our thicker items first. We're gonna be pressing our keychains and then our bag tags, or again in this case, our ID badges. And then we're gonna have to adjust the pressure to be a little bit tighter to get a good press on our thinner items, the license plates. You wanna keep in mind that the pressure will have to be adjusted depending on the thickness of the item that you're pressing. In this case, our aluminum license plates are a little bit thinner than the FRP, or fiber reinforced plastic, that's used on our tags. As a result, we're gonna be using a slightly higher value on our pressure gauge for the aluminum than we are gonna be using for the FRP. Now it's time for the fourth P, which is my favorite because it means that we are all finished and ready to enjoy our sublimation products. And that fourth P is the peel. So as you can see on each of our products, we're gonna carefully open the heat press, remove the parchment paper, and wait a few seconds. Usually, I'm waiting anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds depending on the thickness of my substrate. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove that transfer, revealing our beautiful sublimation blanks. Well, they're not blank anymore. These are now our finished, vibrant, and fully customized sublimation products. When you're using top quality products like Unisub, you're gonna get amazing resolution and color reproduction. And really, the 4 Ps of sublimation, which again are print, prep, press, and peel, could not be any easier. For more information and to order your very own Unisub products, head on over to heatpressnation.com. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button and be sure to subscribe for more heat transfer content like this.